Welcome to the Blogger Genius Podcast, brought to you by Milo Tree. Here's your host, Jillian Leslie.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blogger Genius. First, if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at jillian@milotree.com. I love hearing from you. If you have a comment, a question, a guest suggestion, a topic suggestion, feel free to email me. I read everything and I will respond. For today's episode, I have my friend Monica Froese back on the show. Monica is one of our most popular guests. We did a previous episode recently where we talked about creating products. Well, this time we take a deep dive into how Monica sets up her landing pages, how she sets up her tripwires. Wait till you hear what that's all about, how she tests everything. If you are making products, thinking about making products, selling stuff, using landing pages, not using landing pages, this is the episode for you. So without further ado, here is Monica Froese. Monica, thank you so much for coming back on the show.
I'm so excited to be here again.
So we set this up after we recorded our last one. Your last podcast episode just went live, and I will, of course, link to it in the show notes for this episode. And I was like, hey, could we put on the books another recording? And you're like, yeah, let's do it. Because I felt like when we finished the last one, there were still so many questions I wanted to ask you.
Yes, there was a lot of ways that we could go after the last one. I also listened back to it, and I think it was a really great episode.
Absolutely. And again, for people who are starting to think about supplementing their businesses through paid ads, I think it was a great way to introduce the concept of, we talk a lot about how the internet's always changing, and it does feel now like starting to pay smartly to promote content or things you're selling, that kind of thing, is the direction that we are all moving in.
Well, it certainly seems like it's a smart direction, if you ask me. I feel like with paid advertising, one of the reasons I've always been a fan of it, even though there are some strong opinions I feel out there that some people don't like it and versus other people love it. And I've always fallen on the I love it side. And really, it kind of boils down to the fact that I love to have control. And I feel like with paid advertising, you have so much more control over the parameters that you set up, how people find you, and the journey you take people on when you're paying for the leads. If you know what you're doing,
right,
which I advise that you do know what you're doing before
right,
you actually spend money, I find it highly effective, and it helps me narrow down my focus to what works,
yes,
instead of just throwing a bunch of spaghetti at the wall.
Yes. In fact, yes. I think it is about being intentional, but you have to have the intention up front. And then you have to kind of test things along the way to go, does this work or this work? Okay, A is working. Let's keep doing what A, let's build off of A then. And let's really, rather than you're right, seeing what sticks.
Right. And it's hard to know, when you think about Pinterest in general, when you put a pin out there and you keyword it the way you think it should be keyworded, and you hope that Pinterest picks it up and shows it in search results, you still don't have a lot of control over where the pin's being shown. And even if Pinterest is going to index it properly to be shown where you think it's going to be shown. And, to me, like it can take months before a pin takes off, if it
takes off. Yep.
Right. With ads, I can put up a pin and dictate the keywords where I want it to be seen in search results. And it tells me fairly quick if that pin is falling flat, if those my content's not resonating with those keywords. Like, I can problem solve, in my opinion, a lot easier when I put some money behind it versus just putting it out there organically. And of course, there are things that I'm fine just putting out organically and seeing what becomes of it. And then there are other things that are strategic in my business that I want to either test quicker, or I know it works organically, so let's put more money behind it. There's a lot of different ways to look at it.
Yes. Now, one thing I think you do really well is design landing pages.
Thank you.
I really do.
I've heard this recently, and it's so funny to me because I'm not a web designer or anything like that. I use lead pages for all my landing pages.
Really?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what you would say the top elements are to a successful landing page?
So when I'm making, and when you say landing page, do you want me to talk about an opt-in page or a sales page?
Let's go through both.
Okay. Well, let's start with an opt-in page. So when I do an opt-in page, and we're talking specifically for Pinterest ads, I like to get right to the point.
Okay,
so,
wait, and this is an opt-in so that you're going to give them something for free and they're going to give you their email address.
Correct.
Okay.
And I want right above the fold for it to be very obvious what you're getting for free.
Yep.
And where I'm asking you to put in your name and email to get it for free.
And what is your most successful opt-in? What are you giving away?
So I think in the last episode we talked about how I have two sides of my business. So I have the business to business side and the business to consumer side. So because Pinterest is a business to consumer platform for the most part, I will talk about that piece. So I have a goal planner for moms that is, I believe it's like 14 pages. It's a PDF. That is my most downloaded opt-in from Pinterest.
And did you design this PDF?
No, because I don't feel like I have great design skills. I do think I'm semi-dangerous with lead pages now, but I have a graphic designer.
Okay.
Basically because InDesign drives me crazy. And it's just, I don't feel like operating outside my zone of genius is the best place for me to be nowadays.
So you created it, you passed it off to your designer and said, make this look pretty.
Exactly. Yes. I give her a very all text-based Google Doc, and she knows me so well now. She's been designing my stuff for 3 years, I would say.
Okay.
So I can give her very bare bones, nothing pretty or anything like that, and she makes it pretty for me.
Got it. Okay. So you've got this lead magnet, this downloadable calendar. What is it? A calendar?
It's actually
planner.
No, it's not a planner. It's my process and how I goal plan for the year.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it.
And it does incorporate how I do it for the family, for myself, and for the business. Because one of the things that I have found, because I do have a lot of crossover, the people who find me on the consumer side, who are interested in my working mom stuff, are also interested in how I quit corporate and I started working from home and how I built this expertise. And I really look at my business as and it's changed a little bit because as the business has grown, but for the most part, it's a very holistic life experience for me. My kids' schedule has to fit into when I work, and my personal goals, like going to the gym, have to fit into when I have a nanny and stuff like that. So it's a very holistic view.
Got it. Okay. So back to this lead page, the opt-in page.
Yes.
So talk about then the elements which you said are, it's got to be really clear what you're getting, and it's got to be really clear where you put your name and your email address.
Yes. So I've experimented with a few different ways, a longer form opt-in, a longer opt-in page to a very, very simplistic opt-in page. So I have experimented where you would land on the opt-in page and you would see a pretty layout of the printable that you were getting or the PDF, right? So my graphic designer creates a very nice like 3D type image for me. And then right next to it, I give like very high level overview of what you're getting, a catchy title, and then enter your name and email. And on lead pages, there's two ways you can do it. You can embed the form. So literally when you're looking at the page, the boxes for your name and email are right there.
Yep.
Or you can do the click the button where it pops up.
The double opt-in.
Yes.
Okay.
For promoted pins, I prefer for the consumer audience to actually have the embedded form there so they can see right away where I need their name and their email to go.
Got it. I've
recently, within the last 6 to 8 months, started experimenting with slightly longer form opt-in pages where the above the fold is exactly how I just described it. But what I've started doing is doing like an as seen on portion. So all the like different publications I've been on, and then another image of what they're getting, right, to really entice them in, and then another embedded form.
Got it.
I think sometimes people want a little bit more than just the being hit with the name and email above the fold. So I'm trying to cater to both sides. The slightly longer form opt-in has gotten slightly better conversion. So that's what I'm sticking with right now.
Interesting. And by the way, this is just for somebody to give up their email address.
Yes.
And yet they need that social proof or a little bit more nudging.
And speaking of social proof, I now use Proof, which is a little, I guess we could call it a plugin.
Yep.
It's paid software, but I'm actually looking at my opt-in page right now as I'm talking. It's this little box, I guess you could call it, that pops up and shows like how many people have opted in. You can set parameters. So I could say 50 people have opted in the last 24 hours, assuming that 50 people had, because it is tracking real-time data.
Yep.
And then it shows you the names of all the people that have opted in. I put that on all my opt-in pages, all my tripwire pages, and all my sales pages.
That's so smart. Yes, we like to follow the herd. So if the herd is making this decision, they must know something, and so I can trust it.
Right. Yeah, and it's legit. It goes off of your data feed. So how you hook it up. So you can manipulate it, and if you can, I don't know how to. So it's for me, it's real.
Yeah.
And yes, people definitely. It's an easy way to give social proof, especially because, honestly, on an opt-in page for a free PDF, I feel like quoting people for testimonials is kind of strange. I don't know. I don't actively, I guess, go seek out testimonials for my free opt-in. So it's just an easy way for me to give social proof.
That's terrific. Okay, so now let's switch directions. Let's now talk about the second type of lead page that you do, like your longer landing page.
Okay, so that
where you're selling something.
Okay, yes. So I would say that what I do, I have two different types of sales pages, and one I would promote directly to, and one I would not. So a longer, long form sales page would be like for my course, a more expensive product. And that would be like a typical course sales page, very long, lots of testimonials, lots of data to back up what I'm going to be teaching. But the sales pages I create that I promote directly to on Pinterest, they're much shorter because they usually are going to be below $100 product price points.
Got it.
And so they're not super long. So I'm looking at one now that does super well. And usually there's a hook. So when I'm looking at it, I always like to give a visual above the fold of what they're getting, right?
Okay.
So there's a visual, there's a hook.
What do you mean by a hook?
Like, for example, on my family budget spreadsheet that I'm looking at right now, the hook is, are you ready to take control of your family finances in as little as 30 minutes a month? And then I give a series of 3 questions. And at the end, I say, if you answered no to any of these questions, the Easy Family Budget spreadsheet can help you. So this is all above the fold with a picture of the spreadsheet. And then I like to give, if applicable, a quick overview video of what they're getting. So especially for digital products, a lot of times people like to see like what exactly is this that I'm about to pay for. So I have a quick, I would say it's about a 1.5 minute explainer video of what exactly they're buying. Then I talk briefly about how it benefits them. So like eliminate overwhelm, get your budgeting chaos under control, never miss a bill again, gain hours back in your time. How is this going to benefit them?
Right.
I also update these pages for seasonal spins. So for example, I'm looking at it right now. I actually forgot I did this, but this is a great, because Pinterest is very seasonal and people will come and land on this based on different search terms throughout the year. One of them would be tax related. So I have a section I added in for, do you have a plan for your tax refund? Because tax refund is a keyword that I was getting a search volume under. And then I say that the family budget spreadsheet will help you allocate your tax refund where it matters most in your budget. So it's just another way to capture people who landed on that seasonal spin.
Got it. No, wait, did you make the explainer video? Did you hire that out? How did you do that?
Oh, I made this explainer video so early on in my business.
Okay.
I did it all myself pretty much when I had no idea what I was doing, and it wasn't that bad. So I've kept it for 3 years.
That's amazing.
My most trafficked video on YouTube, actually. So I know people watch it.
That's amazing. Okay. So again, it's not like you're throwing a ton of money at this.
No. No, as a matter of fact, the thing about the family budget spreadsheet that I laugh about is it's legitimately the budget spreadsheet to this day that I use to track our own family finances.
Wow.
And it took me 30 minutes to set this up in 2016. So we're talking 3 years ago.
Wow.
30 minutes of my time.
Wow.
And now the only time I spend on it would be optimizing the sales page here and there. I did a new freebie for the end of it, made it a little bit more on brand and a little bit prettier now that I've had more experience in the space. And answering customer service emails really is the only time I have to spend on this. So it's a very profitable endeavor because
Wow. Yes. Yes. Okay. And so this sales page, though, is not super long,
no, so it goes, we got the above the fold hook,
right? With the questions.
the explainer video,
Yep.
the how this benefits you, a
Yep.
little bit of a seasonal spin that I put on it.
Yep.
And then what you'll receive. So I tell them they're going to get a Google Sheet, a video, 6 tabs, a little blurb about myself and why they would want to buy something from me, and then a buy now button.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I end with my freebie, which is part of my triple dip funnel that I talk about, where since I'm driving so much cold traffic to this from Pinterest, if they're not quite ready to buy this cold, and they might not be, right? Because they don't know anything about me, and they might be like, I want to get to know her a little bit better before I invest anything. I give them a freebie, which then leads to a tripwire page.
Okay, so the freebie, just break that down. So the freebie is, okay, hey, you don't want to buy this now? Great. Well, sign up here. Give me your email address. And is it, get my free blah, blah, blah download?
Yeah, so I end it with, not sure yet, at least don't leave empty-handed. Try out my free budget planner printables. And then it's not in an embedded form. I'm using that 2-step lead box. So you have to click, yes, I need a budget planner. And it takes you to a lead box where you give me your name and email. And that triggers an email to be sent to you with the download for the budget planner. But then it redirects you to a tripwire
for this product.
For this product, that's where people get very intrigued, I find, because they're like, wait a minute, the same exact products. A lot of people are used to getting a downsell offer. Maybe,
right.
Okay, you're not ready to buy this, so let me offer you
this.
Yes.
Okay.
And that works too, don't get me wrong, but I always view personally, the way I view downsells is, this is a $17 spreadsheet. I don't really have anything that I want to create to downsell you to.
Right.
Because I really think you should get the spreadsheet.
Right.
So instead, I'm offering you the spreadsheet on the tripwire for $9. I think it's 15 or 20 minutes that you can get it at that price.
Wow. And what kind of conversions are you seeing doing this?
That tripwire page, I was just looking at this, has a 68% conversion into a sale.
Oh my goodness. That is amazing.
I know. It is crazy, I will tell you. And of course, the more I have other funnels that I use my budget spreadsheet as the tripwire. For example, right now, that goal planner opt-in that I was telling you about, the tripwire for that is actually the family budget spreadsheet. It's not it is related, but not super closely related. So I'm working on a planner instead to be.
So wait, okay. So somebody then opts in for the freebie, and then you send an email that says, hey, in the next 20 minutes, if you want to buy this product, you can at this price.
So for the goal planner, what happens is you opt in for the goal planner.
Got it.
And you're redirected to a thank you page where on the top it tells you, hey, thanks for downloading my free goal planner. Look for your email for further instructions on how to access it. And then it has a 50% bar that says, hey, but you're not quite done yet, right? It triggers your mind to be like, oh, there's something else for me to do. There's another. Right. And then I have to look at exactly what the hook is for that. When I have a tripwire from an opt-in,
okay,
I always want the hook to be something related to that, right? Yep. So I don't know what it is off the top of my head because I'm not looking at it, but something that relates to why finances are important for your goal planning.
Right.
And then I offer them the budget spreadsheet. And then what happens is when you get what I used to do, and I would advise against this, what I used to do is actually link to the freebie on the thank you page, and I would have it open up into a new window. And my logic then was, well, I want people to stay on the Tripwire page because I want them to finish reading what I'm offering.
Right.
But what I found was it was hurting my open rates, which I care more about at the end of the day because nurturing to me is super important.
Okay.
It was hurting my email open rates.
Now,
because
why?
Because they were getting the freebie right from the thank you
Got
page.
it. Okay. Yep.
So they were never going back to their email to actually claim the freebie.
Yep.
So now what I do is it's if they want to go get the freebie right away, they go and open their email, which is good because I want to keep my open rates open, showing all the email service providers that people want to read.
Yep.
And what I do is if they don't follow through on the Tripwire, then I have, depending on the way, I have tried this multiple ways, but usually it's the second email, re-offers the Tripwire to them, but people who have bought are excluded. So I don't bother the people who actually took me up on it the first time.
Got it. And then,
and that works well.
Oh, sorry. Let's say somebody then takes you up on this before, and now are you putting them in a sequence, a series of emails where you're selling them more stuff, or you're sending them weekly emails? What is your thought with these people?
So it depends because I have so many different funnels. There's lots of different ways I handle this.
Okay.
Depending on if we're talking about the consumer side or the business side, if I have like a launch of something coming up, it really depends. But if we take the goal planner, for example, what I usually do is you get the goal planner. So you got the first email where I give you the link. Here's your goal planner. It's a very simple email. The whole objective is to get you to open and click over to the freebie.
Got it.
Then the second email is going to re-offer you the Tripwire.
Yep.
And I go back and forth with if I offer the same Tripwire price or I offer a different discount or full price. It really depends. I test everything. So I just run my tests to see where my conversion rates fall.
Got it.
The third email is usually a value add email. Either I'm offering you another freebie or I'm directing you to some sort of free content that's going to help you with whatever it was that you opted into.
Got it.
The fourth email, I usually try to add some affiliate offer in there depending on what it is. Like, for example, I'm a big affiliate for Elite Blog Academy. And a lot of my moms come in and they're interested in starting a blog or working at home. And that's a really great program. So I will offer you a freebie for their program, which locks in my cookies. So I can gather those as well.
Got it. Yep.
And then the fifth email is either another value add or it will actually kick you into my welcome sequence if you've never been through it before.
Hey, are you a blogger or entrepreneur who loves their business but is a little overwhelmed with all that you have to do in a day? Well, you are not alone. We all feel this way. So I want to share a pop-up tool that will increase your social media followers, grow your email list, build your traffic, and it is called MiloTree. MiloTree is a pop-up app that my husband David built for our first site, Catch My Party. In the 4 years that we've been using the MiloTree pop-up on Catch My Party, our Pinterest account has grown exponentially to over 1.1 million followers. And our Instagram has grown to over 160,000 followers. And these social networks now drive millions of page views to our site every single month. MiloTree works to grow followers on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It'll grow your sales on Shopify or Etsy, and it will even grow your email list. You can focus on growing one platform at a time or switch between several. The choice is yours. MiloTree. It's easy to install. You can do it in under 3 minutes. It's completely optimized. Right now, you can get your first 30 days for free. Just go to milotree.com to sign up for your free trial. If you are not converting your site visitors into followers, subscribers, and customers, you need to change your strategy. To take the first step, head over to milotree.com and start your free trial. There's no risk, and you'll be joining thousands of other professional bloggers who are already using MiloTree to grow their businesses. As a bonus, once you sign up, I'll send you valuable business tips each week to help you continue to accelerate your growth. You can't be everywhere all the time, so let MiloTree work for you. It's fast, it's easy, and it gets results. So what are you waiting for? Head to milotree.com and start your free trial. What I love is that you built these organically, testing along the way, seeing kind of these natural paths that your customers come in through, and building it out from there, from what you learn.
Yes, I've tested everything probably numerous ways, and I test everything. Every factor that I can think of to test, I test, and I am a strong proponent of doing the same, especially if you're going to put money behind it with ads. It's really important for you to be open to testing different landing page formats, testing different price points, testing different emails and the sequences that the emails go in. Really, you test everything.
Okay, now
my general message.
Let's talk about then. You sell products that start at, let's say, $17 and go up to $500. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the landing page for the most expensive product that you sell or course that you sell, and how that landing page is different from the other ones.
Oh, I feel like this has evolved so much over time, but the landing page for the $500 course, which is my promoted pins course, is when it's live, because it's not live all the time. Like right now, as we're recording, it's closed because I just finished a big launch. It is a very long form page. And there's the main reason for that is because I'm asking people to make a much bigger investment. And so they need to know more about what I am offering and more about the results that I've gotten people.
Right.
So I have at least 6 testimonial videos I've done. And, I know that there's like, I literally work out of my bedroom, right? So I run very lean, and I don't send camera crews out to do these elaborate videos. I hop on Zoom with my students and we record, what successes they've had with the course. And then I keep it to about 8 minutes, and I throw it up on YouTube and put it on my sales page. I do a nice cover for it. And, I keep it low cost, but meaningful to the people who are on the sales page.
Okay. So you've got a bunch of testimonials, video testimonials, where people can really listen to what others like them have achieved through your course. Yes. Okay.
Yep. I have recently started working with I'm in an accelerator program where they specialize for online course creators. And one of the things that I recently got feedback on was to add more pain points in. So I tend to be very literal when I talk about things. And so this last launch, I added in information about the pain points, like where you might be on your journey and why this will help you solve that problem. I was actually much better with that on smaller priced products for some reason, but I struggled with that with my higher end products. So I've added in more pain points. I talk a lot about, what differentiates what I'm doing on the market. Like, I don't talk about competition on my sales page, but more like why my product is different and how it will help you.
Okay.
I have a bio on there, a lot of details about what you're getting, lots of bonuses that I offer. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and the other thing is to put the opportunity for them to buy all along the way. Don't just wait till at the very
end.
Bottom.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yes. So
how many buy buttons would you say you have on that page?
I feel like I probably could even add more than what I have. For a long time, I only had 2. And now I would say I know I have the price listed in 3 different places, but when you press sign me up, it will jump you to the buy button. And I would say I have at least 6 or 7 of those now, maybe 8.
Got it. So you make it easy.
Yes. And I recently heard, and this is something I did, I wish I tried this last time, but this could be great advice for someone else who's, opening a sales page. Hotjar.com, which is like heat maps of your sales page. So you can see where people are focused more and like where they fall off, where they're having trouble. I have not done this, but it sounds genius to me. So I plan on installing this on.
Using Hotjar? It is. Yeah. We've used it on MiloTree, and it's really fascinating because it will show you where people are clicking. And like, there was something on our page where we didn't make a button, but people thought there was a hot link. And so you could see all these people had been clicking on a part of our site that we didn't even know anybody would think to click on. And so it made us step back and go, oh, wait, they think that's a button. We should put a button there.
And I wish I had done this on the last launch. One of the girls in the accelerator program I'm in told me that her launch, she was struggling with the new product she was launching, and she did Hotjar, and she made a ton of changes to her sales pages, and it was a physical product, and ended up selling out. She went from hardly any sales when she first launched to almost selling out within a week because of using Hotjar and seeing where people were struggling on her page.
It's very insightful, because what you discover is that people see your sales page or your product differently than you do.
Yes.
And that we come at it with so many preconceived notions that you're like, really? That's how they think about that? Like that is not me. We think something is so clear, and it's like, wow, they're really confused.
Yeah. I used to do them back in the day when I first started blogging. I think it was called peak user tests. And I did it on my regular website. And I actually used to get so upset because it was a blog roll back then. So that was what my main page was. So it was like my blog posts were the most prominent thing when you land it. And there would be an excerpt and then these 3 dots, right? So, but for some reason in my theme, those 3 dots weren't hyperlinked, but the title was, and then there was also a read more, like right there. But people kept clicking on the 3 dots, and I was getting so upset. I'm like, why can't you just click on the read more?
Exactly. Yeah, it's humbling. You realize that, like, you think you know, and then you go, oh, wait, I don't know. Or I'm sure you see this when you're testing ads, that you're like, oh, this one's so going to win. People are going to love this. And then all of a sudden, that's not true. And they like something else.
Absolutely. And a little trick for Pinterest ads, and because I get asked this all the time, and it's a really good question, which is, should I promote a pin that's already doing well, or a new pin, or can I promote a pin that's doing well with a new pin? And I actually have very strong opinions on this, because
share.
Pinterest is very algorithm driven, and they need signals from your pins to understand what they're about. So when you have a pin that's been on their platform, let's just say for 30 days, they've already started indexing your pin description keywords, the text overlay. They've looked at the boards that people have saved it to and the titles of that boards to get more clues about what that pin's about. And you've given them time to, when you scroll down on a pin, when you have a pin open on your device, and you scroll down, you get related pins. And when you look at related pins, it gives you a very good idea of if Pinterest actually knows what the heck your pin's about, because it's my pin's about goal planning, and I scroll down and it's all about weight loss. There's a disconnect going on there.
Yes.
So what happens is, if you promote a pin that's been on the platform for 30 days, Pinterest has all of these signals about that pin and what it's about.
Yep.
And if you promote it against a pin that's brand new that they have no signals about, almost always, I would say, and I've run hundreds of campaigns, if not over 1,000 at this point, it will default to favoring the algorithm, the promoted pin algorithm, defaults to favoring the pin that they know more about, even if it's not the better pin, because you didn't give the other pin
enough time.
A fair, yes. So I always say, don't promote a pin that's been on the platform against a brand new one, because it will, they will pick a favorite too fast without it being a true test.
I think that's great advice. Yes. And I would always say, go toward what is already working. If there's a way to build on that, to do that, use that momentum, use the fact that Pinterest understands this and that people are already responding to it.
Yes, I agree with that. I would say for the vast majority of times I promote, and my students as well, we usually use something that's already performing on the platform. But there are instances when maybe you have like a new challenge you're going to be launching, and so you don't have you circulated pins, and in that case, create 2 new pins and test them against each other and see how it plays out in the promotion.
I think that's great advice. Okay, one thing that I think you're really good at, there are many things I think you're really good at, but we were talking about this a little bit before we pressed record, which is I was giving the hypothetical of I am a food blogger and I am a content creator, and I thought I would get into this and make a lot of money via ads, and that might not be happening, or even my ad income is decreasing. How do I think about creating products? And you've been so good at starting with less expensive products and moving up to more expensive products, like really moving up, they call it the value chain. So would you speak to how, let's say I've never thought about creating a product. How should I go about that in my niche? If it's not like, let's say I'm helping people plan, or do like decluttering or something that kind of you go, oh yeah, I'd want to buy something to help me with that. How would you go about creating a product in my niche and then thinking about how to move up the value chain?
So first, with ads on a site, I've always said, and I've said this for years, even before I was down the product path as far as I am now, I always felt like there's not a lot of control over the ads on your site. And I like control over my revenue streams, or at least as much control as I can get. And then the other thing is with ads, you're also sending people away from your site. And so I've always sat there and thought, well, why don't I just promote my own stuff, right? And that, like, why don't I keep people in-house? So that was, when I think about ads, those were always questions on my mind. And with Pinterest, honestly, I feel like Pinterest makes it so easy to brainstorm product ideas. With the first caveat is we never copy people. It's not good to copy. Inspiration is one thing, never copy. But one of the exercises my students love, and I actually just brought my students to this exercise, is doing keyword research and looking at it from the perspective of, first of all, let's say you put in a keyword for that if you're a food blogger, for example, and there's a keyword that is very important to a vast majority of your recipes, and you put it in and start looking at the other pins there and what problems they're solving and the angle that they're taking. And oftentimes what happens is you'll find that there are other products being offered, and you can either do something better because like you already have all the content that can be repackaged to offer what someone else is already asking people to pay for, or you can get so many great ideas about, oh, I could fill this gap. I could do that. I could, there's just, I think sometimes people are afraid of asking people for money for something that they think that other people are offering for free. And I'll tell you right now, almost all of my lower end products, if you search on Pinterest, you can get other people's products for free. Sometimes they use them as an opt-in, and I'm asking you to pay money. But there's a different way to look at it. First of all, your value and expertise, like you're the only one that has it. And when you package that up into something that people can pay for, a lot of times that means that they have more skin in the game to actually use it and get benefit out of it.
Yes. And chances are, if you're asking somebody to pay, there's probably a quality control with that. Yes. Which is, I could be getting this freebie, but maybe somebody just kind of hacked it together. Whereas if you're asking me to pay for this, chances are I'm going to get something of higher value.
I absolutely believe that's the case. And one of the reasons I think that I have managed to stay on top of search results for a lot of my products against things that are free is because Pinterest does know how they measure clicks to your site, right? Like they know how much your pins are getting interacted with. And I believe I stay up on top of a lot of these search results because people are taking action and telling Pinterest that they want to pay for it.
Right.
The other thing I've started doing, which I got this from when I read the S1 report, which is when Pinterest went public, they have to file this S1 report with the Security Exchange Commission. And I just reread it. Their product pins have a 40%. It's around 40%. I don't know the exact percentage of it's a decent percentage though. More click through. And it's so easy to make a product pin. You just add a little bit of code on, like if you have a sales page, for example, on lead pages, you just add a little bit of code in the header section. And what it does is it pulls in the pricing
Yep.
information
Yep.
to Pinterest.
Yep.
And those get a lot more click through. So if you think about this, if you're like a food blogger and you have all these recipes on one topic, why not put them together into like a recipe download? And then you can take advantage of product pins.
Right.
It doesn't have to be super expensive, and it validates it too,
Right.
because you already know people want it for free. And people pay for aggregated information.
Yep.
They just do.
Yep.
I do.
Yep.
As a user myself, for example, my husband recently lost 70 pounds on keto.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yes.
Good for him.
Good. Yes. A little jealous.
Okay.
He just dropped it, just like all melted off of him. But because of that, I had to change the way we eat, because he basically cut out carbs still does eat pretty keto friendly. When I go and look for keto recipes, because I'm not a huge cook myself, so I need stuff to be easy.
Right.
I am not an elaborate cook. I really actually kind of don't like cooking at all.
Right.
So when I go to Pinterest and I'm looking for keto stuff, I actually gravitate towards the paid stuff, because I feel like it's going to be much easier to follow. It's going to be a quicker win for me, and I don't have time to waste.
I think that is so smart. I think that, again, using Pinterest to do your research, to see what problems are people having, how are other people solving them, how could I go solve them?
Yeah. And a lot of times there's a gap and you're solving it with something already, and you can just repackage it differently.
I think that is so great. And by the way, just for the audience, in order to get product pins, those are rich pins, Google rich pins. You need a business account with Pinterest in order to get them, but they're special pins that show up with more information.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, they're a form of rich pins.
Oh, you are just such a wealth of information. I like literally take notes when I talk to you, because I'm like, ooh, I need to look into this. Oh, I need to, that kind of thing. So lead pages is your place. That's your jam.
Yeah, my website is hosted on WordPress.
Yep.
And I just don't find, I'm not a coder by any means. I am not a website guru. So back in the day, I needed something that was fairly easy. And at this point, I am so invested in lead pages with building my opt-ins and my sales pages. I can
never leave them.
Yeah, and they're pretty. Like, I do a pretty good job at that.
Yeah, you do.
Point, so.
You do. I love your landing page. If somebody were to say to me, whose landing pages, do I respond to? It would be you. So when I had the opportunity to interview you again, that was like the first thing I wrote on my thing was ask her about landing pages.
Yeah, and honestly, too, the thing about landing pages at the end of the day is it takes off all the clutter, right? I don't have sidebars. There's no upper nav. I'm not asking you to do 4 different actions when you land on my page. And when I put money behind something, I want it to just be super clear what I want you to do, which is I want you to pay for something, or I want your email address.
Yep.
And there's no confusion there about what I'm asking you to do.
Yes. I think that is so smart, and serve it up easy for your audience. Make it easy. Make the yes easy. Make the yes super easy. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And think about, the other popular thing that I have my students do that they rave about is I make them go through other people's funnels and look. They start with a keyword, and I ask them to go through organic pins, so ones that are not promoted, and promoted pins under those keywords, and see if you're confused by what is being offered, if you know what action you're supposed to take. Because a lot of times you'll land on something, you'll land on a pin that you just think is amazing, and you're like, well, I can't do this because someone else is already doing this, right? And then you click on it and you have no idea what they're even asking you to do. It's convoluted and it's messy, and then you're like, oh, I could do this better. And it gives people confidence to go out there and be more okay with asking for the sale. There's nothing wrong with asking for the sale and getting money for your expertise. Absolutely. Okay, Monica, where can people then learn about your course and you and all of that stuff? And when is it opening again? Like, give people the lowdown.
All right, so I offer year-round a free course called Pin Practical Ads, which you can find at redefiningmom.com/ads,
Okay, we'll
ADS.
link to all of this in the show notes.
Yes, that's the easiest place to start if you're looking on how to get started with promoted pins, because that free course is going to lead into the bigger course at this point. So I'm changing things up in the background. So if you're interested in the bigger course, chances are by the time you go through the free course, you'll have that opportunity to join us in the bigger course.
Awesome. And if people want to reach out, do you have an email address or is there a contact page or anything like that?
Yeah, on redefiningmom.com, I have all of that fun stuff. There's contact page and all my social handles. I'm much more active now. If you can find me anywhere, it'd be on Instagram at redefiningmom. I'm sort of getting into like the whole Instagram story thing, and
cool.
it's like a cool new place to hang out. I'm joining the cool kids, I think.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, Monica, thank you so much for being on the show. I know we are going to do a part 5, 4, something like that.
5. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
I love that episode. I always learn so much from Monica. I hope you do too. Also, I don't know if you know this, but if you sign up for Milo Tree, not only do you get your first 30 days free, but you also get put on my email list where every week I send tips and tricks to help you grow your business. And I hope you will meet me here again next week.